Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and here is gonna be my first video about Chinese fan-made novels, and I decided to be 魔道祖师 or the demonic cultivation, the grandmaster of demonic cultivation, and I believe this is one of the most popular Chinese fan-made novels or the most popular Chinese cultural project around the world, and I first read it when I was 16 in my high school, and at that time someone just recommended it to me, and it was my first time reading a fictional fan-made novels. Before that, I used to only read doujin BL novels, so it's kind of a first time for me. In this video, I will talk about 5 topics. The first is the brief introduction, the second is the overall view and thoughts about the novel, and the third is pros and for its cons. The 5 is a comparison among live action, animation, and the novel version or the original text. I hope you will like it. First, I want to do a little quick brief on the novel, because I know most of you should have already read the novel or have watched the live action version or stuff, but just in case some people are new to the anime circle, I wanna do a quick introduction. The novel is about a grandmaster of demonic cultivation, and his name is Wei Wuxian, and this person belongs to one of the 4 or 5 major sects, and he creates his own demonic cultivation. Because of his cultivation, he stirred up some turmoil, which obviously what everyone thinks that he did it, but it's actually not the case. That there are some deeply unfolded, deeply buried past or schemes that people are running behind the scene. The main character, Wei Wuxian, is going to fight against the 5 major sects or 4 major sects, and along this journey he found his true love. I guess you could say that that's quite a boring brief introduction, but I know you didn't expect a lot from me. Second, I want to talk about my overall views and thoughts about this novel. It is a masterpiece. It is the first novel I had, the first anime novel I have read in my lifetime, so I definitely didn't have high expectations for it. I kind of just went with her depiction, and it was amazing. The writing style is very, I'd say it's very mature, and that should be in prose. I think this is absolutely the best anime novels I have read so far in my life. This is kind of a slow burn, and I love slow burn, and like you kind of get confused in the first 20 or stuff chapters, but later when you figure out what is happening, you kind of like you're unfolding the mysteries, you're solving problems, you're discovering the history, which is truly interesting and shocking, and the hints, the storylines entwine with each other really well. You can just from every perspective you can find everyone's that should be in prose. I deleted the second part, which is the overall thoughts and view, because when I was talking about that part, I found myself just bragging about the novel, which could be actually included in prose. So I'm just going straight into the prose. The prose is that first, I would say the novel's author, which is mdzs 墨香铜臭, she did a really good job at writing her novels. The writing style, I won't say it's very magnificent like a Midbond or like others, but it is just like telling the story. You could even imagine depict the scenery in your brain. I especially love her chapter endings. Even in some very commonplace chapter, there is a very unique and beautiful endings that just brings that kind of subtle emotion for you. I am really sensitive to some emotions, so those kind of very big and those powerful sceneries, like some battle, like someone's dead, someone's alive, someone's blah blah blah, doesn't really influence me a lot. But is there a but? Doesn't move me a lot, but I especially love how mdzs pays a lot of attention in her writings that depicts the scenery and those long-lasting subtle emotions that actually moves me, such as I really love the extra. One of the extra, I remember it was Lan Wangji was grabbing some lotus. Yeah, I remember that chapter. That was one of my favorite chapter of this novel.
I especially love how she tells story from the side but not directly tell us what is happening. Here she used the lotus branch in the vase to be the symbol of Lan Wangji's longing for Wei Wuxian and told us he ate that lotus seed, without actually showing us he ate that lotus seed. The shift of plothole is amazing and looks really natural.
You might find it very strange because I see most of people like the chapters that are like Wei Ying's confession and Xiao Chen or Xue Yang's arc, which I find them pretty moving as well, but it just doesn't give you that subtle slice of life moment. And the second is that she portrays her character very maturely. I don't know if that's a word, maturely, but her characters are like, there are a lot of character in her novel. Every character have their origin, have their backstory, have their standing point, like they're in their shoes. In their point of view, everything is makes so much sense. But that's the reason the turmoil begins. And that is why the tragedy has to happen, and the character doesn't just make sense in stagnant time, but they develop through like the time span 30 years. I like every single one of the characters, especially those obvious villains, antagonists like Wen Chao or Ling Zhao or stuff. I like every single rest of them. My favorite character is hard to say, hard to decide, but I would say it's Chen, because I feel a lot from Chen. Chen is kind of like my mom, who is a Chen, and he has a hard time to express his feelings, just like me and my mom. I think I feel a lot from him. I know some people hate him, but I understand him. I totally understand him, and I feel he is the loneliest person in the book, except from a lot of characters. I mean, spoiler alert. When Chen at the end of character said, just like Wei Wuxian couldn't tell him that the golden cord was Wei Wuxian's, Chen couldn't tell him that at that day actually he ran out to attract those people that are looking for them, was actually because he wanted to protect Wei Wuxian. And that ending, I think I was in such a state of shock. I was completely speechless. I just love him. The third pro of the novel is that everything makes sense. A little detail from the first chapter can be connected to the later part of the story, and this is the result that mdzs continues to revise her novel again and again. I think this is really great that you can actually realize some of your theory in the later part of the story, and
you get to know the truth aside from crowd-esque depiction rumors.
In the second time of you reading the story, you could actually find there are so many things that you ignore, but you can retrieve to resonate with the later part of the plot. Seamless story, I'd say. And the fourth pro, there is too many. I just can't. The story express really good ideology. one main character is very conservative, and the other main character is like really free-minded. But I really love how these two ideology can tolerate with each other.
I like things are not black and white. A plot moved me a lot, which is Jin Ling crying over Jin Guangyao when he finds him to be bad. Other leaders be like, why you crying over an evil person? And Jin Ling was like, who TF for you? What do you know? Because others did not know the scene occurred to jail was when he was upset. Jin Guangyao kindly gave him a dog, and that dog is always with him throughout his life. Of course, people have different sides. Even Jai or Zhu Yang in some moment tried to be a good guy, but was rejected by the society.
Actually, Xu Yang, I like him pretty much, but he doesn't get enough screen time. He's too evil to make me feel for him. I think I like him just because he's very interesting. His plot is very interesting, but he himself is not that person. I like him so much. I think I would like him if he shows more softer part of himself, or he has more plot line with Xiaoxing Chen. My favorite chapter was that Lotus chapter, that Lotus extra, and the second is the Chen city arc, which is around 50-ish chapter. When I first read those 40-ish chapter, when Xue Yang and Xiaoxing Chen and Qi, it was such a banger. I don't know if I used this word correctly. If I used it wrong, you could judge me. But when I first read that, I almost lose my will to study. I was in my school and I just stay up watching the novels, and so mind-blowing, and it feels so real for me, and it feels like it is really rare for me, which I just get immersed in the story with the character. Because I usually feel like kind of excluded from the novel, and I really ship Xiaoxing Chen and Xu Yang. Yeah, I stand Xiaoxue. My phone just died after hearing me say I love Xiaoxue. He feels that is very astonishing. And I also like the scene where Jingling is crying, hugging his dad's sword, crying on the ship. I think that is one of my favorite scenes. Let's talk about the cons. Cons means disadvantage, flaws, right? If I'm not mistaken. I think the novel itself is very well executed and a complete novel, but there is still some cons, there's still some flaws that me myself don't like, or maybe it's an advantage for you. I don't know. The cons, number one, I think it's kind of too slow in the first 20-ish, 30-ish chapters, that you can really be hard to accumulate motivation to read along. I think for most of the Chinese dramas or novels, they like to set a lot of mystery in the early part of the novel. I don't like it. I hate it. I hate to solve those kind of mysteries. And even when you are first getting to the novel, I don't know why you give me that much mystery. It's not like I can have a clue or I care about them. mdzs魔道祖师 was the first novel I read, so I was not familiar with the trope, so I just went for it. So I just read along. As for now, if I have already read hundreds of dummy novels, if I read this novel anew right now for the first time, I probably wouldn't go along with it. Yeah, that my patience is really low. The second con is, let me think. I thought about it just now, but I forgot. Other than the starting part was kind of slow, I think the proportion of the whole novel was so perfect. The pacing is really well managed and well executed. I think it's really mature for mdzs to perform such a novel when this is only her second. Oh, I thought about it. The second con I really dislike is how the tragedy all happened. It was a spoiler alert. It was Wenli who accidentally killed Jingling's dad. This accidentally, I don't like it. Even though some people may argue that this plot is actually set by Jin Guangyao, I think Jin Guangyao have only participated some part of a curse mark on Jin Zixun, but he couldn't make Wenning to went crazy on that spot. and to attack Jin Zixuan, yes. And it was all a mistake. It was all a subtle mistake. This kind of subtle mistake just ruined the whole situation, which is kind of unacceptable for me. I don't know. It is kind of casual. I forgot who went crazy, and somebody went crazy at that very place and killed so many people. I think this is kind of a too much coincidence to make this happen. I think in real life, there are situations that coincidence can bring huge effects. But
You could
I
use
think
this
in
dramatic
novels,
writing
if
choice,
you
but I
use
just
little
feel like the
mistakes
plot was
to
not built up
lead
enough,
to later part
that
of
it
the
made me
story,
feel
it can
coincidental.
be a little bit anticlimactic and a little bit unsatisfying. Next, we want to talk about the comparison between the live actions, the animations, and novel text. The live action, first let's talk about the live action, which is the untamed Chen. And I've watched it a few years ago, but it was kind of weird for me. It was kind of weird, so I stopped halfway, just like 10 minutes in, and I see you guys like the live action very much, and I can't help but wondering, is it really that good? So I repeated, so I went back to watch it again this year, summer vacation. I watched it. It was better than I expected, but still I think it is not that good comparing to the original text. It is just my personal opinion, because first, it is censored. I think that is a big no-no. The second is that the special effect is kind of it's kind of awkward, yeah. And only in the first episode, I have already told you guys that I don't like big dramatic energy. I like those that are subtle, that are those little slice of life emotion. So the first episode, 10 minutes in, and I see them, no, and I went to like, what is happening? It just seems kind of funny to me. I think they kind of changed the plot into Xiaoxincheng are not supposed to meet Wei Wuxian, but due to the censorship, yeah, it's due to the censorship, they changed some of the plot to make the whole situation plausible, which is a big no-no to me. I know they have no choice, but still, I don't think the plot is like as fluent as the original text. Of course, some of the actors didn't match my expectations. I used to dislike the choice Wang Bo for Lang Rongji, but later he just grew on me. For the longest time, I always loved Xiao Zhan as Wei Wuxian. I'm not commenting on the actor, I'm just commenting at their matching level. I think Xiao Zhan is absolutely a great match for Wei Wuxian. Yeah, I don't know why, but they made Jiang Cheng and who's that girl, Wen Qing, into the relationship. They made Jiang Cheng like Wen Qing. And they made them go to school together. Why they have to do that? I hate it when there have to be boy and girl love when there doesn't have to be. I mean, all you need to do is minimize the change you have on the original plot. And Wen Qing was described to be a dark-skinned girl in the novel. I have to say that I like Meng Ziyi, Wen Qing's character, Wen Qing's actress. I like her. She's so beautiful. I like her. I love her. But she's not dark-skinned. This is just like you have to know that Chinese entertainment industry's white superiority. I don't know if that word is correct, but they love fair skin and they don't like dark skin. And Wen Qing is the result of this ideology. I don't like it. And they keep the same plot. They keep them well, except for the part they have changed. And they have changed a lot. I don't know why they have to make the ending kind of like a BE. They just separate. Is that gay issue? And the animation. I haven't finished the animation version. I haven't watched the 动画. This is just my perspective. I don't like the painting style. I don't like the drawing style. There is something common in Chinese animation industry that they raise the they raised the frame. They raised the amount of the frame very much, a lot. They raised the amount of the frame a lot, but they do each of the frame bad. Of course, some people like it. That's why they watched it. I don't like it. I think their budgets are high, but it's just I don't know why. Maybe the whole concept of the Chinese animation industry is fluency. You need to raise the amount of the frames, but I don't think that's the case. You need to draw each frame very well. This is a very unpopular opinion. Very unpopular opinion. Please don't.
By the
comment.
time I
If you
edit
don't
this, I
think
have
so, you
already
just
peeked
don't.
at some
If you do think so,
TGCF
you just do.
Donghua clips,
So,
and I
all
start
in
to
all,
believe this
for
really is a
MD
budget issue law.
this whole product and its fandom, I would recommend people to read the novel. Read the novel. That's it. Oh, I forgot to mention audio drama. The audio drama is pretty good. Yeah, but I have only listened to some of the fragments, but so far I think most of the experience have been good. Yeah, and it is really popular. I have bought Japanese audio drama for mdzs, and I have bought Chinese. They are both good. So if people would ask me how to choose, I would say I would definitely recommend the novel and audio drama. The novel is masterpiece, and audio drama I think is more acceptable for most of the audience. As for live action and the animation, if you like it, you can go check it out. But definitely not be my favorite. Next time I will be, I think I will upload one video about little mushroom, 小蘑菇, and yeah, see you next time.